Yesterday, I did a video on unboxing my Strandberg Boden Standard NX8. And I talked a little bit about how it was designed ergonomically and all that kind of thing, but I didn't go into much detail other than the Endure neck. I've only had it a day. It still feels weird. It is totally playable. It's not plugged in. This is how I practice 90% of the time. I don't plug in electric guitars. I just play, come up with an idea, and then I plug in and try some things. Anyway, ergonomically, this sits up a little bit higher in your lap because of the way that this cut is designed. This cut is designed so that you could play it kind of in a classical position, if you will. Switch legs like this. It's designed so that you can change your playing position a little bit to make it more comfortable to play longer, which is a great thing. This in particular is not on my Agile headless guitar. This weighs slightly less than that. This weighs 5 pounds, 10.3 ounces. The Agile weighs, I think, just right at about 6 pounds, if I remember correctly. I did mention at the very end of that the sculpted heel joint. This is awesome. It's almost like a sculpted neck through type joint. I like the Luma inlays. I'm not sure if I'm saying that quite right, but they show up in all kinds of light very nicely. The pickups seem maybe slightly lower output than what I'm used to on my Agile. I'm going to later on do a comparison, I think, between those two, just sound-wise. This has a lot more sounds available with some of those single coil split settings with the 5-way switch. I'm really happy that this does have a tone control. Many 8-string guitars don't, and many of them are geared more towards the metal players. This will do fine with that type of thing, but that's not what I use my guitars for in most cases. The sound that I need to work with mostly is a clean Fender black panel type amp sound, and then my pedal board I use to color that sound. Pretty old school. Someday maybe I might go down the digital path, but with me playing most of my things here at home in my home studio, where I have the luxury of not having to cart things around and all that kind of thing, I can use all of that old school stuff. I have a very large pedal board, and I like to be able to just easily click on and off things, reach down, turn a knob for something. It's harder to do on the digital realm. Anyway, that being said, I did talk to the seller. He had forgotten to include the strap that was supposed to go with this. It is one that was, I think, designed through Strandberg. A little bit shorter than most. The one I used yesterday, and a lot of what I do playing wise is standing. I feel more comfortable standing when I'm recording and things like that. I'm more into it. Ola Strandberg started making guitars, I think mainly for himself, or maybe exclusively for himself, in the 1980s and into the 90s. He was not able to afford high-end guitar. He wanted something better than he could afford, so he started making them for himself. In 2007, that's when the Strandberg guitar really got the seed planted into ergonomics, into making a guitar more comfortable, easier to play, more comfortable to play, things like that. And that is how this design started to come about. He got into some kind of a forum where they were sharing ideas, bouncing ideas back and forth, and when he got to the neck shape and everything, they were looking at some guitars that had a twisted neck, basses, I forget the name, things like that. But you can find a lot of these on some of his interviews, for example. But when he got down to this design and refining this design, he decided he was going to patent this, because he and I think others around him knew that this was something different. This was something unique. This was something beneficial. And other guitar makers have licensed this design from him. Playing it last night, I'm not being hindered by the Endure neck. It still feels strange, different. I don't think it's going to give me a problem. It's just me switching guitars a lot. I think I'm always going to find that, oh, this is different aspect of this guitar, because I'm not going to narrow down. I've got like 24 guitars now, I believe, 24, 25. I'm not going to narrow them all down, because I still want the 12-string sound. I want to be able to play my baby sitar when I want that sound. It's all about sounds, and in some cases the way that guitar makes me play. Yes, you can have a 12-string or a sitar emulator. It's not the same. It's not the same. It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't inspire you the same. Anyway, back to Ola Strandberg. Second thoughts on this guitar. I'm not planning on getting rid of it. I'm not planning on getting rid of my Agile Chiral either, because they are different. I can play some of the same things on them, but this gives me some different tone options that aren't available on that one. And as I mentioned, I am going to do a comparison later on to see what the basic tones on this are compared to the Agile. That's for another time. Anyway, I just wanted to share some of those thoughts and ideas with you. The one thing that I didn't mention, the knobs have a large flat spot so that you can know exactly where it is instead of a little pointer dot or a line. It's a rather large flat spot. It's pretty easy to feel when you're turning those knobs. I like the layout of everything. Everything's very comfortable. I am going to mess with pickup heights and things. I did do a little neck tweak last night. It had maybe even just a little bit of back bow. It was so straight. So I added just a tiny hint of relief, and I had to raise up the high E string. It was buzzing here a little bit, kind of in the middle, and I think both of those little tweaks helped quite a bit. Again, I'm going to have to do something with the frets, and I'm not quite sure it's absolutely fret sprout or the ends just need to be dressed. I'm going to look a little closer at that. Thank you for watching this little update on my new to me Strandberg Boden Standard NX8 guitar. The color, the choices I think are blue flame or charcoal flame. I don't own, well, I own, the Agile is kind of that green blue fade. That's as close as I come to a blue guitar. I've thought about getting a blue guitar before. I haven't done it. This is a little tamer. I don't have to match clothing to it or anything like that. I can wear almost anything and it'll go with anything. I like it. Oh, this also has the maple fretboard over my Agile, has the rosewood fretboard. Maple is supposed to add a little more snap to the sounds. A little more snap to the initial attack and response and things like that. Most of my guitars have rosewood fretboards. I don't mind maple. I think I like the way rosewood looks better, but this is fine. It's a good contrast. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet, and click the little bell wherever they are putting it now, so that you can be notified the next time I do a video. It could be music video where I play a lot of different instruments with the Native American style flute kind of getting the spotlight shown on it as the melody or replacing vocals in most cases. Could be the flute by itself, but in most cases I like to add other things to that. For me, it is much more interesting that way. I love the sound of the Native American style flute. To me, it sounds like an electric guitar in one of my most favorite lead electric blues tones. they sound the same. They really do. And I've got music recordings with kind of taking turns between an electric guitar and the flute. Some people have a hard time knowing which I'm playing if they don't watch the video. Do subscribe. Let me know what you think. I think it's a keeper. I'm going to be playing with it more. I played with it here on the couch while I was watching TV last night. And getting a little bit more used to it. These angles are still, it's strange to feel those. It's very strange. But it's not a hindrance. It's it's interesting, very interesting. Thank you again for watching. I hope that you have a fantastic day. Take care.